What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to DC Unplugged, where I do reviews, tech tips and tutorials on e-scooters. So beside me here we have the brand new Dragon Hurricane, and I've just put 1,000 kilometers on this scooter. So needless to say, I've had quite a lot of time and experience with this scooter. So what's it like to live with this scooter? Who do I think this scooter is actually made for? Is it really worth the money that this scooter is up for? What are the flaws having to such a big scooter like this? And more importantly, well, what goes wrong with it? Well, in this review, after 1,000 Ks, I'm gonna let you know. In the live with things, exactly like I said before, it is bulky, so it is quite a big scooter, so don't be expecting to be able to lift this scooter up and down staircases, in and out of cars very easily. Like I said, it is 50 kilogram scooter, so it is quite a big scooter. Pretty much stands for itself. Like, I'm crashed down here sitting beside you, can clearly see how big this scooter is. It is a big scooter and it is heavy. So having the flaws of having such a big scooter like this is it is big. You've got to find a space for it in your garage or in your spare room or somewhere in your household to be able to store this. Which leads me on to, well, who's this scooter made for? Good question. So most of the time, big scooters like this are mostly made for enthusiasts. So people that have already had an e-scooter before and are just after something that's a little bit more better all round, good at off-road, bigger brakes, more power, more range. And range is a big thing, guys, when it comes to e-scooters, because you just get lost in the moment and you end up finding yourself being out for a lot longer than you anticipated, like coming out to places like this where it's really beautiful and you just want to keep going and just keep exploring. Because if you're a very adventurous type of person, this scooter is definitely going to cater to those adventurous type of people, because you've got heaps of range, heaps of torque, lots of power to pull you up any hill you throw at it, as long as you have the skills, because it'll try and buck you off like any scooter would. But you know, it's definitely catered for more of the adventurous and enthusiast side of scooters. So it's definitely not one of those scooters you'd go out and buy as a first scooter, especially if you're trying to go just to and from work. It's definitely more something you'd have as more of a hobby and a fun. I definitely would recommend getting something a lot smaller if you're going to get like a daily driver scooter, if you just want to travel from home to work. Which then brings me on to, with the whole going to work and coming home, is it really worth the $4,000 price tag that this scooter comes with at the time of my purchase? Me personally, I think so. And this is just my honest opinion. This is my own opinion. This isn't because I've been sponsored by Bike Scooter City or anything like that. This is me. I've brought the scooter and this is my personal take on this scooter. And for me, as an adventurous type of person that loves doing really long scoot rides and coming out to places like this, 100%. Like, for me, it's worth every cent. But for someone like that just wants to go from A to B, again, like I said before, definitely not worth buying a scooter that's so big and bulky that you're never really going to use or appreciate what this scooter can do and what it's actually made for. The flaws. What are the flaws of having a scooter like this? Well, pretty much stands for itself. Like, I'm crashed down here sitting beside you, can clearly see how big this scooter is. It is a big scooter and it is heavy. So having the flaws of having such a big scooter like this is it is big. You've got to find a space for it in your garage or in your spare room or somewhere in your household to be able to store this, as well as actually having, you know, time to run on it and in general, because every e-scooter shouldn't be just left for a once-off occasion, like every once a month, because you'll actually end up killing the batteries. And it doesn't matter what brand you go for, it's just the general thing with the lithium batteries. They can't stand sitting for a long time without going through charge cycles. We don't see that as people because, you know, our mobile phones, we use them every day. But lithium's inside there, they're getting their charge cycles, they're going through charge cycles, so you never really see battery deterioration on your phone. But when it comes to these things, just like a phone, they need to be regularly used and maintained. So making sure that you actually keep up to date with any e-scooter and making sure that it actually does run through its cycles, well, you've got to keep that into consideration, definitely with livability wise with this scooter. So yeah, The faults, or the flaws of having such a big scooter is you do have to use it quite regularly for what its intended purpose. So maybe keep that in mind for when you're purchasing your next scooter, or if you're purchasing this scooter. So, and a lot of you probably come to the end of this video and you're really wanting this exact question asked. So what goes wrong with such a big scooter like this? Well, to be honest, the Hurricane's actually been one of probably the most reliable scooters I've actually had. So the only really thing that I can really point out is that, you know, I've gone through quite a few tires. That's simply because I just ran over something. Unfortunately, I've ran over a piece of glass, or and I've had nails go through my tires. And that's really all that I've had or can nitpick with this scooter. Apart from that, like, it's been a pretty solid scooter. Like, I can't fault it. I haven't broken anything. I wheelie it. So this thing gets quite the workout, and it's just been a great workhorse. Like 1,000 Ks is just pretty much pure abuse, and literally stuff like this off-road, which is not easy for most scooters. This is quite like the breaking point of most scooters, is to come out to rocky places like this and just tear it up at like 40 kilometers an hour, and this thing just takes it. So, you know, I haven't really found anything to break on it yet. I think the only thing I've really had come loose is the little owl light here. And like, you know, and that's pretty much it. Like, I took the mudguard off because I'm more of a person that's, you know, likes the kind of like a tail tidy on a motorbike, you know what I mean? So didn't really like the mudguard, took it off because that's just my personal thing, and I much prefer the back end to be tidy. I've still got to, you know, chop up the swing arm or the arm bit there for the mudguard, so then that way it's all tidied up. But for the most part, honestly guys, very, very reliable scooter, and I haven't had an issue with it at all. So, and even then, it comes with a really good warranty and backed up by a company that is made here in Australia. So if something was to go wrong, you can always take it back and they'll look after you there. So. So guys, if you've been around for this on this channel for a while now, you guys will know that I love modifying these scooters in some way. So I've always done something, and trust me, there are mods coming for this scooter, but I've tried to keep it as stock as a rock for as long as possible for this exact review now, just to see how it holds up for you guys and myself, just to see what and if anything goes wrong. So, and the great thing is I haven't had anything go wrong, which is great. On the other side, is there something in or about this scooter that I would love to change personally? I do. So personally for myself, maybe the bars be a little touch bit wider. I'm always a big fan of wider bars, so that way you have more control. So instead of holding from here, a wider area, so if you hit like a rock on one side of the wheel, it doesn't try and buck you the other way. You've got a bit more control because your arms are spaced out a little wider. And probably the next thing I'd probably change is thumb throttle. Unfortunately, this is the trigger throttle. Just for me personally, this isn't to actually do anything bad with the scooter. That trigger works really, really nice. It's smooth, it's responsive, and it's actually really, really nice. But just for me personally, on bigger scooters and more high-powered scooters like this, I would actually prefer a thumb throttle rather than trigger, just so then that way I can grab the brakes a lot faster instead of having to swing around and then grab the front brake, because that's where you mostly want to do most of your major quick braking or hard braking is on the front and moving yourself back. But if I was to change anything, it'd definitely be that to a thumb throttle, pretty much exactly like to the Dragon Predator. I really, really like the thumb throttle on the Dragon Predator. That's actually a really, really nice throttle. But yeah, it's probably the only thing that I really want to change is yeah, that thumb throttle. I would definitely change that to a thumb throttle. So in conclusion guys, I think this is a really good scooter. It's a beautiful looking scooter. Also guys, if you can just let us know down below actually how this footage turned out, what you think of how this is, because I'm actually trying out a brand new camera. So if you've been watching my TikTok, you'll probably know that I actually went out and bought a new camera. So let me know in the comments down below, see what you think, and also what you think about this review too. And like always guys, thank you all so much for watching and subscribing to the channel for stuff like this. You guys are awesome, and without you guys, I can't make content and get motivated to do stuff like this. So if you haven't already subscribed, definitely do so, like all that fluffy stuff guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.